I've come into the garden this morning to harvest some tomatoes, mostly picking Romas at the moment, which are going to be used for sauce and bottling. Sauce is the mission today. But while I was here, I know it's been ages since I've made a video, and I thought I would bring you here into the greenhouse and show you what's been happening in here with the tomatoes and other things that I'm growing in here. Now, everything's been somewhat neglected over the last few weeks because the focus has moved to harvest. We've been freezing corn, picking beans and freezing beans, and doing other jobs as well. But here in the greenhouse, you'll see that the tomatoes have really gone crazy, reaching right up to the top and doing really well. The first tomato I really want to talk about is the Sindel here, which was a plant. This particular one was the plant that I put in right at the beginning. It was an advanced plant and it produced some early fruit. Along with the improved Apollo, it was the first to ripen fruit. I did create a clone, this one here, which has actually got fruit ripening now. It's already had some, but it's got more. It's not doing quite as well as the original plant at this stage. Part of the reason I think why the original plant has done so well is that I accidentally broke the main growth stem out of it, and that stopped it for a bit. Then I allowed a lateral to grow, and that lateral has gone right up here and has these bunches of green fruit here, which you can see. So we're now, in terms of time, we're just coming into autumn, and so these are going to ripen across autumn and be really nice to have. Now, you'll probably notice there's a fair bit of whitefly in here. I have been somewhat negligent lately. I haven't been spraying for whitefly as I should have, and so it is running a little bit rampant. But I noticed when they're really high like this, I don't think the whitefly like the heat that's higher in the greenhouse, and it gives them a lot less trouble up there than down lower. So pruning off the lower leaves like I did and bringing them up high has really helped. It has reduced disease in terms of some of the fungal diseases that occur lower. The improved Apollo here did okay early, but it's not doing as well now. But there's still some tomatoes there. There's still more coming. So they again will, come through into the autumn. My favourite really has been the Tommy Toes, which are really going rampant. I'm not trying to control them anymore. The original plant, which is this one, has now reached right down to the ground, and so it's gone up and it's hanging over a bar here and all the way to the ground. And it's got lots and lots of fruit coming. The Tommy Toe is really nice in a salad. It's got lots of flavour. So great salad tomato. Up this end, I have a couple of clones of the Tommy Toe and another one which Samuel planted from seed in the corner there. And these are really doing well. The Tommy Toes don't produce like masses off a single plant at a time, so you need quite a few plants to build up any volume of produce. The other thing that's happening up in this bed is that we've got a chilli that is doing really well. It's I think as tall as I am now in terms of looks taller, but it is in a raised bed and it's got a nice crop coming. So they're just beginning to ripen, and we'll use some of those in the tomato sauce, but we'll keep a lot of them for making some chili sauce a little later. Also in this bed, I've got half a dozen capsicum plants growing, and they're probably producing the best capsicum crop that I have ever produced here in the greenhouse. Lots of nice ones coming to ripeness now, so they really moved well early into fruiting, and that's good because there's still enough heat to actually get them to ripen. Sometimes if they are a bit late, they just don't ripen properly in our climate. The cucumbers are not looking very fantastic now as they're coming towards the end of the season, and at this stage the vines start to look pretty bad. But they are still producing, so we're getting really some nice picking of produce out of the greenhouse here. These tomato plants here, I planted from seed, so they were a little bit later coming, and they're an experimental variety for me. I've never grown these before. They're called pineapple tomatoes. And as you can see here, they're a nice large tomato. We've had a few ripen already and eaten them. Now, they're a very mild tomato, non-acidic. So I really don't understand, other than the colour, why they may have been called pineapple tomatoes. They certainly don't have any pineapple taste characteristics. It's really only an appearance. If you like a mild, non-acidic tomato, this is one you might give a try. Certainly going to produce good size tomatoes, ones that look really nice. Personally, I like a stronger flavoured tomato. So in terms of flavour, I much prefer something like the Tommy Toe. Also, I think I prefer the larger red tomatoes that I've grown previously, like mortgage lifters. But if you're into the mild tomato, as I said, give this one a go. It's really done quite well, considering they were planted from seed somewhat late in the season. And I've got some outdoors and they are also ripening at the same time, though these plants have promise of production here over a longer time span. All in all, I have to admit that I have neglected things. I really do need to come in, spray for that whitefly, try and get it under control a little bit more. But sometimes we get busy with other things, and often, particularly at this end of season where harvest starts to dominate, it's hard to find the time to come in and do some of those jobs in the garden. This is only going to be a short film, and so to finish up, I wanted to bring you here and show you what's happened in this patch. We have quite a lot of pumpkins, as you can see. The vines are dying back now, so you can actually see the crop, and there is some quite nice sweet grey pumpkins there. I'm quite happy with the crop, considering this is new ground and it's not rich in organic matter. I think they have done quite well. There's one here that was towards the end, and it's a really nice big pumpkin. There's several that are really good size pumpkins. We have tasted a couple already, and they are quite dry. Probably because moisture levels are low. This time of the year in Tasmania, we're not getting much rain. There's a promise of a little bit this afternoon, but it's not really going to amount to anything significant. It's another 2-3 weeks before we start to get anything significant in terms of rain. So we've been watering, but it still doesn't necessarily meet the needs of these plants. On my right, you can see the watermelons. Now, there's a few here. They are not, in terms of size, what you would produce in a warmer climate. We haven't eaten any yet. There is one that should be ripe. It's got the signs of being ripe, so we will pick that one probably later today and see what it's like inside. I tend to hold off for picking the first watermelons because sometimes you can be a little bit early and they're not really ready. But the problem with watermelons in Tasmania is exactly this, that autumn is now coming and the weather starts to cool a little bit, so you're not as excited about eating watermelon as you were in summer, but you just cannot get them to produce that early in the season. So it really doesn't matter that they're only a small crop because you're not going to eat that many anyway. Right, it's nice, looks nice. It cracks beautifully. That's a good thing. Real watermelon, real seed, eh? Mmm.
It tastes really good, John. It's soft and watery, just like it should be.
It's real watermelon.
Yeah. And because it's got the old-fashioned seeds in it, it makes it good too.
So that's all I have for you today. As I said, just a short roundup of what's happening, and I'll be back soon, hopefully with another video. Try and get back to it a bit sooner than the break between the last two.